R134A says, finally put in defrost board on pane heat pump. We had referred to this in a previous show, everybody. It seems to have fixed it. Had bypassed fan to contactor for the last 2 weeks until eBay part arrived, $20. Well worth the wait. Hey, that's good. The good thing is, on a heat pump, if you don't need the defrost, you can bypass it. You can bypass it in the wintertime too, but it just frees up the coil. It's running an air conditioning for a couple minutes and then start the process over again, because essentially that's what's going on in defrost. It shuts the fan down too. And maybe I should explain that for our non-heat pump brothers out there, brothers and sisters. So in defrost, on a heat pump, the outdoor coil freezes up because there's moisture in the air and the coil temperature is below freezing. Even when the air is above freezing, you still have that refrigeration effect. The coil gets really cold, so it drops below freezing, starts accumulating frost. So you have to defrost it every now and then. So it'll turn into air conditioning mode, and it'll turn the heat strips on to negate the air conditioning inside the house, because obviously you don't want it to be any colder inside than it already is. So the air conditioning runs, that outer coil gets hot, and the outdoor fan motor shuts off because it wants to boost that head pressure even more. Just like you guys know, there's cycling controls or head pressure controls, cycling controls for outdoor fan motors, so that the coils will remain at a proper temperature. They won't get too low, because if it gets too low, the air conditioner is not very efficient. And of course, when it gets too high, that's a problem too, but that's not really the issue they're addressing. They're addressing cold weather air conditioning like you'd have on retail spaces and commercial environments, because sometimes they run air conditioning when it's freezing cold outside because there's so much load from the inside. So it needs to cycle down those fans, either cycle off some of the fans, like if there's multiple fans, it'll cycle some off, or it'll ramp them down. There's even kits like the ICM 325HN, I want to say it is, maybe. I could get a picture and put it up on the screen, I guess. I'm not doing that right now, because I think it's the 325HN. It will actually cycle the fan down, just a normal fan motor. It will cycle it down by, I think, varying the voltage to the fan motor, and the amount it can cycle down is based on the type of bearing the fan motor has. Because if it has a ball bearing, it can tolerate a lower RPM than a sleeve bearing, because I guess the way that it stays lubricated is different. I guess the ball bearing is a little bit better at staying lubricated than the sleeve bearing. Maybe you guys can help me with that. And that's how it works. So it's able to keep that head pressure where it's supposed to be, so your air conditioning is functional.